the physiological and biomechanical theory to propose optimal training for a middle distance runner. This presentation was done by Alfred, Olajide and Rami.
Introduction. Middle distance running is characterized by the energy demands for muscular contraction, which is vastly greater than the capacity to provide aerobic metabolism. Saunders et al. Running economy and performance in middle distance running is highly dependable upon various physiological and biomechanical factors. Lippi et al. In this presentation, we aim to provide optimal training by using biomechanical and physiological factors associated with middle distance running.
Physiological factors of a middle distance runner. Spencer and Gaston found that middle distance runner uses both anaerobic and aerobic system. In addition to this, the energy is supplied by muscle glycogen and lactic acid. Morgan et al. Found that changes in physiological factors such as core temperature, which during exercise, the body produces a great deal of heat. This could be extreme circumstances as the blood is pumped through the body will increase the temperature, and body temperature will begin from 37 degrees Celsius and during exercise can rise to up to beyond 40 degrees during middle distance running and other exercises. Your heart rate will increase because of the high demand of oxygen in the muscle. Ventilation. This can be an accomplishment via the nervous system through neurologic and hormone stimulation, allowing the sensitive control of ventilatory response. Blood lactate concentration. Wasserman et al. Suggested that the development of lactic acid is essential in the athlete performance, which may help them with the lactic acid or the energy system, if you want to call it, in a middle distance runner for them to be able to complete the race. VO2 max is the maximum oxygen that the athlete uses during this performance, during this middle distance runner, such as 1,500 meters or 3,000. So they're going to use the maximum, and they're going to push themselves to the limit to try to finish this race. All these 5 components play a role in the performance of a middle distance runner.
Physiological factors of middle distance runners continued. Pollock found that elite runners worked at a lower percentage of their VO2 max compared to a novice runner. Pollock also found that elite runners had a better VO2 max compared to novice runners. For example, an elite runner averaged 79 mil per kilogram per minute VO2 max, and a novice runner averaged 69.2 mil per kilogram per minute VO2 max. Di Pompero et al. Found that an increase in running economy by 5% promoted an increase in distance running performance by 3.8%. Daniels states that the improvement of VO2 max by 3.8% induced an increase in running economy by 6.6%. Connolly et al. Confirms that the combination of an improved VO2 max and running economy is connected with an improved performance in middle distance running.
Anthropometrics is the dimension and movement of the human body and its limbs. Several anthropometric and body composition values are known to be associated with running performance in elite middle distance running. For example, body height and mass, fat and fat-free mass, arm circumference, and different lower limb skin folds, and also some of 3 and more skin folds have been related to distance running performance. Moses et al. 2013 found that performance in middle distance runners was best described by the lower leg to upper leg mass ratio and the second ventilatory threshold time. Williams' 1987 study found that bigger athletes tend to consume less oxygen per kilogram of body mass than smaller athletes. However, runners with a proportionally smaller amount of body mass concentrated in the extremities, particularly in the legs, would perform less work moving their body segments during running if all other factors are unchanged. Therefore, leg mass and distribution of leg mass might be important characteristics of distance runners' performance. Examples of athletes are David Rudisha and Hashim El Guroush, who are both Olympic and world record holders at 800 meters and 1500 meters. Anthropometric characteristics are important for predicting middle distance running performance. As part of biomechanical factors which affect middle distance runnings come the kinematics and kinetics. Kinematics is the study of motion and its causes, and kinematics is the study of pure motion. Williams in 1987 found elite runners that had slightly less vertical oscillation, were more symmetrical, and had better running economy. This particular study found that elite middle distance runners were associated with a more extended lower leg at foot strike, lower vertical false peak, and longer contact time. Greater maximal plantar flexion velocity and greater horizontal heel velocity at foot contact were also associated with better running economy. The study compared different running speeds with kinematic and three-dimensional ground force reactions. They found that force production during ground contact coupled with the activation of leg extensors, co-activation of muscles around the knee increased joint stiffness. More economical runners had indefinable kinetic patterns. They observed the ground support time and big medical force correlated with the submaximal VO2 max. More economical runners had lower first peaks in the vertical component of the ground reaction forces, smaller anterior-posterior and more predominant rear striking pattern. And Barnett in 1987 estimated that the Achilles tendon and the tendon in the arch of the foot can store 35 and respectively 17% of the kinetic and potential energy gained in a step while running in moderate speed.
Action.
In 1999, an author called Hill found that the energy system ratio in an 800 meters event is 2/3 anaerobic and 1/3 aerobic, whilst in 1,500 meter event it's half aerobic and half anaerobic. Therefore, the optimum training program for a middle distance runner should be endurance-based, focusing on aerobic energy systems. In order to address and develop their aerobic capacity, athletes should integrate altitude and speed training. Circuit and interval training can improve aerobic capacity as well as long distance sessions at certain pace. Weight and plyometric training can be included in order to develop the rate of force production and explosive power. So sample exercises that you could put or trainings that you could put in your program would include anaerobic altitude training, weight training, aerobic long run, which will be 10 to 12 miles long, anaerobic speed or hill sessions, aerobic training, which would be 6 to 8 mile run or a circuit training, aerobic training at 5k pace sessions, which could then be divided into multiple sets and reps and intensity levels, aerobic 6 to 8 mile run or on a bike ride.